last time we were talking about your experience trying to live with a non-dual perspective.
Yeah, yeah, like what does it actually feel like?
Right, and you were just about to tell us about how that played out in your relationships.
Oh yeah, relationship?
Yeah, and especially with a partner.
That's where it gets really
By
interesting.
that, I mean, that's where all of our deepest patterns and triggers
Oh,
and
yeah.
resilience stuff comes up.
We always talk about bringing baggage into relationships.
Right, all those expectations and past hurts and
Yeah, and ideas about who our partner should be.
yeah, the ego just loves to construct these
Oh
narratives,
yeah,
trying to fit the other person into its little box.
totally. And the user in this AI chat, they really go deep into that.
Okay.
Like how the ego creates this illusion of separation,
Right.
even in our most intimate connections.
Yeah, even when we think we're being the most open and loving.
Yeah, exactly. And then the AI throws out this question that just like blew my mind.
What was it?
It was like, if you dissolve the ego, what happens to love?
Hmm.
Does it become this like bland universal acceptance,
Okay.
or does it deepen?
That's a good question.
And that's really what I was grappling with in my own relationship.
So what happened when you tried to approach your partner without those stories, without those expectations?
Well, first of all, I became like hyper aware of my own reactions.
Okay.
Like normally if my partner did something that annoyed me,
Right.
my ego would jump right in,
Yeah.
defensiveness, blame, the whole 9 yards.
Classic ego move.
Right. But this time, I tried to, like, catch myself.
Okay.
Instead of reacting, I'd ask, like, why am I feeling this way? What part of me
Interesting.
is being triggered right now?
So you were bringing awareness to your own internal state
Yeah, it's like shining a spotlight on
instead of projecting it outward.
exactly my own insecurities and projections and all that stuff.
And did that change how you responded to your partner?
It did, yeah. It allowed me to respond with more compassion,
Oh, right.
both for them and for myself.
That makes sense.
It wasn't about denying the conflict,
Right.
but approaching it from a place of understanding.
Okay. So the conflict didn't necessarily disappear,
No,
but you were relating to it differently.
totally.
And actually, the AI chat talks about this too.
How is it?
Yeah, they say that conflict doesn't necessarily go away in non-duality,
Okay.
but it transforms.
Yeah, there was this one line in the chat that really resonated with me.
Okay, what was it?
It said, conflict arises when two truths collide. The ego tries to declare one truth as superior. Non-duality holds space for both.
That's powerful.
I know, right?
So did embracing this perspective, eliminate all arguments in your relationship?
Haha. Wouldn't that be nice?
Yeah, I mean, I guess that would be the ideal outcome, but
No, I mean, we're still two distinct individuals
right.
with our own thoughts and feelings and,
Yeah,
disagreements.
right. So the ego didn't just magically vanish.
Nope, it was more like
Okay.
a mischievous guest that I could kind of observe with amusement
Oh, I like that analogy.
rather than a tyrannical ruler
Yeah, yeah.
dictating my every move.
Okay, so you were able to create some distance between yourself and your ego.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that allowed for this like deeper level of intimacy with my partner.
Okay, how so?
We could disagree
Yeah,
without it turning into World War III.
right, because you weren't taking it so personally.
Yeah, it was more like we were on the same team
Right.
trying to navigate a tricky situation together
Hmm.
rather than adversaries
Yeah,
trying to win a battle.
that makes a lot of sense.
And that felt incredibly freeing.
Yeah, it sounds like you were able to see the conflict as something happening between you
Yeah.
rather than because of you or your partner.
Totally.
So it wasn't like, you're wrong, I'm right. It
Yeah.
was more like, okay, this is happening. How do we navigate this together?
Exactly. And that's what I'm finding so exciting about this whole non-duality thing.
Yeah,
It's not about achieving some perfect state.
right.
It's about like integrating this awareness
Yeah.
into the messiness of everyday life.
And the AI actually says something similar in the chat.
Really.
Yeah, it says non-duality is not a destination, but a direction.
That's good.
Yeah, it's an ongoing process of
Yeah.
recognizing the illusion of separation
Right.
and choosing to act from a place of connection.
Right. So it's not like you just flip a switch and suddenly you're enlightened.
Right, it's a practice.
It's a practice.
It's a way of being.
Yeah. And that brings us to the like really big question.
Okay, what's that?
What does all of this mean for like the world at large?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Right. We've talked about exercise and eating and relationships, but
Yeah.
what about the global challenges?
Right, like war and poverty and
Yeah, environmental destruction.
climate change, all of that.
Does non-duality have anything to offer
Yeah.
in the face of these, like, seemingly insurmountable problems?
Right, and that's where things get really interesting,
Yeah.
potentially controversial.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
The user in the AI chat actually makes a pretty bold claim.
Okay, what is it?
They say, I am the consciousness of humanity.
Whoa, okay, that's a big one.
Right. But if we follow the logic of non-duality,
Yeah.
if we really accept that there's no separation between ourselves and others, then in a sense,
Yeah.
we are all expressions of the same consciousness.
Okay, so what does that mean for how we approach these global issues?
Well, the AI pushes back on this point,
Okay.
asking, like, how can we reconcile this idea of oneness
Right.
with the very real suffering and injustice that exists in the world?
Yeah, that's a good question.
And the user's response is both challenging and hopeful.
Okay, I'm on the edge of my seat here.
Okay, well, we're going to have to
Oh, come on.
leave it on a cliffhanger.
All right, fine.
Next time.
For the thrilling conclusion
Of our deep dive into non-duality.
and its implications for the world.
See you then.
See you then.